Yesterday, I was on a call with one of my clients and we were going through his LinkedIn messages, and one of them stood out to me and I went, let's get him in for a call. We sent 2 messages and booked him in straight away inside 10 minutes. Now, there's so much stuff on YouTube, LinkedIn about how to book calls, how to do cold outreach, all of that. And to be honest, most of it is quite nonsense. Today, I'm going to go through my strategy, how I've booked thousands of calls on LinkedIn and how I actually coach people to go on and actually get more calls in their calendar via the qualified method. Now, obviously, my name is Mark. I'm the founder of Closed Loop. I've taken 3,500 sales calls, cash collected over 2 million in upfront payments, and worked with over 80 agency owners. Let's get into it. Now that you can see this, I'm going to go through step by step the way my mind actually thinks whenever I'm, first of all, starting a conversation. Second of all, how do I actually craft an opener? Third, how do I actually qualify that person? How do I get that person to trust me? How do I figure out do they have a need? And then from there, how do I actually book them into a call? Broken this down in the most simplest way possible. So if it is confusing, please send me a message. I'll try and keep it as simple as possible. We can talk about it via LinkedIn and I can share my exact method. With this, obviously, it's an outreach. So it depends. Have they sent you a connection request or have you sent them a connection request? Really, before we even get on to the first opener, you should be using LinkedIn as a platform. If that's where you know your ICP is, you need to build a very, very good list in how to actually connect with the people. There's a very good saying, which is shit in equals shit out. Excuse my language. But it's very true. Where you want to build a full list of everyone who's in your geographical area, everyone who is your target ICP. I use SalesNav. It's very, very handy. And then what you do is you scan those profiles, send them a connection request. You can send roughly on average about 200 connection requests a week. If you're getting somewhere around a 40 to 50% acceptance rate, you're not doing too bad. Anything below that, you probably want to update your profile. Obviously, I'm not a content expert on profiles and stuff like that, but there's a lot of creators on there on LinkedIn that you can actually look at the profiles, look at how they lay it out and do that yourself. You want your profile to look clean, professional, have your branding on it and actually know that you are an expert in your field. Once we have that, we're going to say for this, you're getting about a 40 to 50% acceptance rate. So you're getting about 80 to 100 new leads a week. It's a lot of leads. So what we need to do is we need to actually make sure that we have a correct method to monetize those leads. So what we want to do is we actually want to start with the opener. Now, you can see here, the main objective is to get a reply. It's not to book a meeting. It's not to convince someone that they need your service. It's not to take money off anyone. It's not to do anything. The main thing for this is just get a reply. Now, what does that mean? You can see here, this is an example I used. I'm going to lay out the whole methodology of this. You, Elliot. Why have I said you, Elliot? I have said you, Elliot, because this guy here, without giving away too much information about this person, he's a young person. He's mid-20s and he's a guy. So if I see someone like that I would even just say yo to my friends, I'm going to be saying yo to him. Because the more realistic that you can say, or if you're actually adopting the method of, if I'm at a meeting or an in-person event and I see this guy, I'm going to go, yo, Elliot, how's it going? Pleasure. So that's the methodology you want to be taking. Do not just put his profile into Claude and get it to prompt you some form of thing because it's not going to sound like you. You're not going to get a reply. Your reply rate's going to shoot way down. Next thing that I do to be strategic is pleasure to be connected, but I never know if people are just connecting with me to grow or they like what I'm building. Or maybe both. So the reason why I asked that is the first job to figure out, are they interested in my services? Are they interested in what I'm building? Or are they just randomly connecting to grow their own personal network? Both are okay, but it's good to actually figure out, do they want to actually grow their business via my services? Or do they actually just want to grow their network and, I seem like a pretty cool guy? I don't know, but equally, this works incredibly well because you can see here, Elliot hasn't even replied to that message. He said, likewise, Mark. So therefore, we're on that nice flow where he's like, yeah, it is nice to be connected. Positive reinforcement. Now, with this, he didn't directly answer this, but he answered the second question. Now, this is something I've tested quite a lot recently in recent months, and it's worked incredibly well. Second question you ask, and quite a lot of people don't ask 2 questions. For your outreach message, perfectly fine. By the way, I noticed you worked out of Japan and Lisbon before landing in Bali. Was there a plan behind the order, or did you chase good flights? Haha. Something so silly, so stupid almost, but it's about them. It's about their personal story that they've shared on LinkedIn. So therefore, what the best thing to do there is you've given them an easy yes. The whole point of that question doesn't have to be anything about business, doesn't have to be anything about that, just has to be about them. Who does everyone like to talk about? Themselves. So if you can get people to talk about themselves, your reply rate is going to go up. Now, talking about this, what is the standard reply rate that you should really be aiming for? Well, it's completely different for every single industry niche. The reply rate that I aim for is between 40 and 60%. I know that if I'm in between that 40 to 60%, it's amazing. If I'm actually above the 60%, I know that I'm not hitting my ICP because I know that I'm actually speaking with people who have less budget. Now, equally, if you're around that 40 to 60%, sweet. Anything underneath that, you need to change your average. With this as well, there's a different techniques that you can adopt here. I'm not going to sit here and say you need to write a message which is all about, hey John, just had a look at your profile. Do you need 10 new leads a month? Or one of those stupid pitch slaps. But there is a method that I've seen work incredibly well that I know some of my good friends in the space use, and it converts their ICP. What that is a well-researched pitch slap. Now, it doesn't work for my ICP, but it works for other people's ICP. Obviously, my ICP is someone doing around 5 figures a month who's an agency owner. They provide a service. They're looking to scale to 6 figures a month or $1 million a year. Run rate, somewhere around there. And they're going through a period of scaling. They've got 1, 2, 3 clients and they're going up. Now, equally, the guy's ICP that I'm talking about, he targets financial services. These guys here are normally really busy. They're older. They're about 40, 50, 60 years of age. They don't really want to have the chit chat because they've been in the game a long time. And to be quite honest, they just want to know, can you help them? We figured out that his is better just to do a well-researched pitch slap. A well-researched pitch slap is essentially coming in, building that bit of rapport in the first message, and then going down and shooting your shot. This video is not about the well-researched pitch slap, but equally, if it is interesting to you, if that's most of your ICP, please let me know. I will do a video about that because I know that it does help some other people. But the message that I do, the whole point of this is to get a reply. Now, the reason why it is about getting a reply is because the next one is building trust. If you remember, I'm a massive advocate of the 4 needs to close: trust, want, need, and budget. The most important is trust. So the main thing is build trust. Now, you can see here, this is a conversation where we are talking about Thailand. I'm not going to read this out word for word, but you can see that this person here has actually replied a pretty decent 2 paragraphs reply. Something that I like to talk about quite a lot when I'm doing messages is locations, is going on holidays, is doing stuff like that. I like to travel quite a lot myself, and I know quite a lot of people who work in this industry because most of the people work remote. You can pretty much go anywhere in the world. So it usually works quite well. It gets them to see that you are just a standard human being as well, and it actually starts a bit of talking. Now, what the next step is, and you can pause this video if you want to read through all of that, the next thing we need to do is qualify. So it's all well and good having the trust building conversations and stuff like that, but if we're speaking to people all day long who just don't have the budget to actually pay us, what's the point? Because then we're just spending hours and hours and hours in the messages a week for nothing to ever come of it. And I know people who do this, and I know people who can't pivot the conversation. So this is very, very, very important. Figure out if they are a good fit for what you do. You can see here, there's qualifying, unqualified, and qualified. I come through and I said, yeah, man, honestly, I don't think ads are the right route for you yet. Being at around 10K-ish, I don't want you to come across like I'm telling you what to do, but I think I can help you. Now, why did I send that message? This guy here before this conversation was saying, oh, I think I need ads to go on and do this. And I know my ICP don't tend to know what is the best decision to move forward with. Now, after working with over 80 agencies, after taking 3,500 sales calls, even if I don't work with people, I like to tell them, don't do that, do this. So this is me, obviously, showing someone that I kind of know what I'm talking about. And then, for example, a recent guy I've been working with, enter name, who was charging 3K is now charging 7K with a 30+% close rate, now doing 35K, scaling to 50K. Just needs the right system. I just want to make sure, though, before I make any promises, because I only work with people who I know I can help, mind if I ask you a few more questions? Then, if it makes sense, we can book in a call. That is me pretty much saying, hey, I don't think you need to do this. I think you need to do something else. Here's a testimonial of someone who's in a recent situation to where you were. This is what he was charging. This is what he is charging now. I think I might be able to help you. And mind if I ask you a couple of questions to go from there? So you can see here, we went more into qualifying questions, which is going to be more qualifying questions for your exact niche. Now, this guy here was in pretty good conversation. He actually is an active client right now, and he's a great, great guy. Call proposed. So let's just say they turn out to be qualified. Then it goes into call proposed. So main objective, you're not selling your services right now. You're handling any objections just to get them on a call. And this is super important. I see so many people talking about selling their services, trying to say, oh, it's 4 or 5K, dropping the price, all of these things inside the DMs, when really you're not trying to do that. All you're trying to do is get them on a face-to-face meeting where you can understand more about their business. You can understand, can you even help them? Then from there, you can talk about it more in detail on a call where you actually have more understanding of their current business. Let's get into this side of things. So main objective is essentially to book a call, not to try and sell your service, not to do any of that. You can see this is a message I send quite often, and it might seem like a lot, but I have actually tried so many different messages in this, and this seems to be the best that works for me. Now, there's a couple of wee bits here that you might not agree with. Trust me, I didn't agree with them when putting them in, and they work. So word of mouth is always a great channel. However, in this era, you can't match the volume generated clients through platforms like LinkedIn and word of mouth. Hence why I'm doing this video. Obviously, in the previous conversation leading up to that, this is an agreeing statement where they're obviously growing straight off referrals. I always find LinkedIn to be the best platform for generating qualified leads. So it would make sense for you to build this up if you're planning to do that with the right sales system in place, generating the customers you need. Honestly, I could ask you a few more questions. And to be honest, these 2 paragraphs are personalized. This, and this is very much the exact same for most people. Honestly, I could ask you a few more questions, but I don't think I need to because we've got all the information out from the stage before in the qualifying. I know I can help. Let's book in a call for sometime this week. So therefore, we're creating urgency this week so I can do a full sales audit on your business and tell you exactly how we can help. So that is me pretty much taking a conversation. I know the angle I'm now going into that call because I know the angle that I can take to actually help this person convert. You're probably thinking this conversation is not a high priority compared to all the other fires and problems you've got in your life and business right now, but maybe I can give you some time back by offering some help or advice. The reason why I do that is whenever you tell someone, oh, this might not be a priority for them, they instantly think, he's not trying to sell me. From that there, they come straight in and it's almost like a push-pull question. This here, if you put this question in, I guarantee you will book more calls. Actually, this is a priority for me this week, will work well. I can give you my email. Then the email was put in with some availability, or shall I just use the appointment book link here? So she's been on my profile. She's seen that you can actually book a call via my LinkedIn profile, or, we were trying to arrange a time through the DMs. That's why I asked that question, because you can see it might not be a priority for them. Actually, this is a priority for me. So many people are scared to ask the questions that you actually need to ask. Now this woman is coming on to this call with urgency and actually knows this is a problem for me. I need help. This guy, Mark, tends to know what he's talking about. Let's see if he can help me. Okay, so I know this video is kind of getting quite long, but please stick with me. This is the last stage. So this person here is actually a different person. And you can see, appreciate the transparency. That's exactly why I was asking. So this guy had objections. And you could see we had to handle those objections before they got in a call. What is the whole point of handling objections before they get in a call? Well, 1, to first of all make them show up. 2, to actually get them into that mind of thinking, can this person actually help me? If we can handle those objections, get onto the call, then they come onto the call with the better actual thought process and thinking, this guy's an expert or this girl's an expert. I should listen to her because she knows exactly what she's talking about, or he knows exactly what he's talking about. You can see here, we handle those objections. I'm happy to jump on a call just so we're aligned. My biggest concern isn't whether we can build an outbound system. It's whether your approach translates well to the recruitment agency model. This guy works on the recruitment agency. Since it's a pretty unique business, if you think it's worth exploring, let's chat. And then you can see here, I offered him 2 times. He took one of the times. Sounds good. Send them an invite. The reason why I always book the call for them is if you send them a calendar link, the drop-off rate goes as well. So you want them to very much just give them 2 times in their time zone, may I add, where they just choose those 2 times and then they go, yep, that works for me. Send them a calendar invite. And then you always say, just send an invite. Make sure you got it. Okay. So therefore, they'll either react to it or they'll say, yeah, got it. Look forward to seeing you. Whatever it is, that's your meeting booked. Now, this is the way I do it. It might not be the way you do it. It might not be the way that's the perfect way for you to do it. But what I will say is build out a process that you know works so that then it's repeatable. So many people are in the DMs just taking conversation by conversation when really they get stuck in limbo mode. So really, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this will give you some actual idea of a way to take a conversation and lead a conversation. I know there's a lot of detail in here. If you want more information on that, please just send me a message on LinkedIn and say, came from YouTube, just watch the DM video, something like that. I will be more than happy to give you some advice, whatever you need. And if there is a possibility that where we can work together, then I'm sure we can look into that. But hopefully that is helpful for you. Go make some money with this. I'm going to be back next week talking more in detail about discovery calls or potentially list building, whatever I get more feedback on that needs done. But I think discovery calls is probably going to be next. So hopefully that was valuable. If you like this content, I'm also going to be doing more video style content on LinkedIn over the next weeks and months. So follow me there. Name's Mark Tweed. Follow the company page as well. Closed loop. And I will see you all very soon. Appreciate you. See you soon. Go close that loop.